Let's see what happens in the chapter. A Question of Trust, by Victor Canning. The story revolves around a 50-year-old man, Horace Danby, who was unmarried and financially stable. He had the illness of hay fever and fits, due to which his servants were concerned about him. 15 years back he had been imprisoned in the crime of robbery. In the prison's library he generated a new interest of collecting expensive and rare books, which stayed in his mind even after releasing from jail, so he used to do robbery 1 time a year to collect money for purchasing expensive and rare books. He went to rob a house for same motive, as he was waiting for 3 books which were about to arrive in autumn, and currently July was going on, so from last 2 weeks he was studying a house at Shotover Grange and found out that the owners have moved to London and the housekeepers were out for a movie and there was just a dog at home, and it was the perfect time for robbery. So he takes the keys after wearing gloves in order to not to leave any fingerprints. After opening the door, there was a dog, and eventually the dog didn't bark at him, as he knew how to deal with them. First call them by their name, and the dog's name was Sherry, and later show them some affection. He went to the living room and he knows that the safe was behind an old painting, but there were so many old paintings, so he thought to steal them too, but didn't do it, as if he would hang these big paintings in his house, so they will take lot of space, therefore small books are good. After he goes there, due to fragrance of some flowers, he starts to sneeze and a female sound comes. What is it? Is it cold or is it hay fever? So he replies hay fever. He was little scared that everyone was out at least for hours, so no one should be there at home, and especially a female. The women come in a red dress. She was pretty, young and tall. As Horace didn't expect anyone, so he says, "I didn't expect to meet one of the family." The lady nodded and said, "I see what an inconvenience it is for you to meet me. What are you going to do?" Horace exclaimed that his first thought was to run, to which she replied that of course he could do this, but within that time she can call the police and he would get arrested. Horace, in order to escape, I would, of course, cut the telephone wires first, and then, he hesitated, a smile on his face. I would make sure that you could do nothing for some time. A few hours would be enough. Which means he would threaten her. She questioned that would he really do the same. Since Horace met an unexpected person, so he asked would she let him go if he treated her well. The lady replied in a sharp voice that why would she? He was going to rob her and society should be protected from people like him. He says that he steals for a good reason and begged her to leave him. She came over to him shaking her head. I have always liked the wrong kind of people. She picked up a silver box from the table and took a cigarette from it. Horace, eager to please her and seeing that she might help him, took off his gloves and gave her his cigarette lighter and asked if she'll let him go, and held the lighter towards her. She agreed on the condition and he replied, "Anything you say." Before we left for London, I promised my husband to take my jewels to our bank, but I left them here in the safe. I want to wear them to a party tonight, so I came down to get them, but, Horace smiled. You've forgotten the numbers to open the safe, haven't you? Yes, replied the young lady. Horace opened it within an hour and opened the safe, given her the jewels, and gone happily away. For 2 days he kept his promise to the kind young lady. On the morning of the 3rd day, however, he thought of the books he wanted and he knew he would have to look for another safe. By noon a policeman had arrested him for the jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. His fingerprints, for he had opened the safe without gloves, were all over the room, and no one believed him when he said that the wife of the owner of the house had asked him to open the safe for her. The wife herself, a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman of 60, said that the story was nonsense. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of the charming, clever young lady who was in the same profession as he was, and who tricked him. He gets very angry when anyone talks about honor among thieves.